Please put your hands together for Siok Siok Tan, everybody, coming up to the stage. The woman behind the camera. That's it. Come on, everybody. We're doing that. Wake up. I think there's some coffee over there. You guys can do it. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome back to.
Do I have 5 minutes since you can't? How long can you hold before you need to go to the
How long can I hold before I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I think I'm the first woman on stage.
You are the first woman on stage. Nicely pointed out. Come on now. Female entrepreneur.
So where's my bouquet?
Right? So it's like there should be a lot more female entrepreneurs, and women do not hold up half the sky. They hold up like 65% of the sky. Come on, let's all admit it. It's,
especially in tech, I think that's a big topic. Recently, there's a book Lean with Sheryl Sandberg. So the whole idea of in technology, there's so few women, and the whole idea that you have to lean in and kind of make women count is a very interesting one.
So that's for those of you not familiar. Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Facebook, formerly Google. She basically contends that women tend to kind of lean back and say, "Well, maybe I shouldn't do it." But one of the things she says that I think is true is that men are like, "I could totally do that. I can do that." But maybe the guy's really actually incompetent, and he just kind of blusters his way through. And women who are actually maybe more competent, even much more competent than the guy, say, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that." So I think one of the things you learn is just kind of be like a dopey, overconfident guy and just go, "Yeah, I can totally do that." So any female entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurship has to be around just creating a reality distortion field, not just for other people, but for yourself as well too.
How many women entrepreneurs are there in the audience?
Female entrepreneurs? Female entrepreneurs? Anybody? There's one.
That's one. That's good.
Excellent. I'm sure we have a number watching from home. So I'm glad you led with leaning in. So tell me about your company and the sort of update of
I run a company called KineticOne's.
Wow, I didn't even mention that awesome logo up there.
KineticOne's. We control the live stream today. The video crew is actually from my company. It's a social video kind of network in the sense that we run several channels online, so it's content verticals. We have a youth culture channel called Cool that covers indie music, action sports, hip-hop, urban culture. We have a fashion lifestyle channel, we have a parenting and pregnancy channel, and it's syndicated all across the web on websites including Yolu that you were talking to, Yolu, and also we push out the content through social media. So it's kind of the idea of building engagement using social media centered on video content. So it's essentially running like micro TV channels online.
So that's interesting, and that's something I did not bring up with Lujan from Coolio, is that one thing I see, there's this one entrepreneur turned VC that I really like called Mark Suster, both sides of the table, and he talks not so much about like the giant networks creating custom content or the UCG, but something in between, which is which I really think is probably where things are going to go, is something very, very custom designed for niche markets, and also very very palatable, very easy to consume from sort of new media stuff. So
I think it's the whole idea of actually web native content that's meant to be shared and very targeted. So I think what has changed, in terms of video content is that if you online, the difference between online content and TV content is that online mainly people search and discover. So it's not kind of linear scheduled programming, but rather I'm proactive searching for what I want to watch, or I discover it through social sharing. So what it means is really that people want content of a very specific kind. For example, I want to watch hip-hop videos. It's kind of like binging on hip-hop videos, snacking. Like I want to watch 12 in a row, and no one's going to stop me. And I don't want to watch anything in the hip-hop video that has nothing to do with hip-hop. So it kind of turns the traditional TV programming model on its head. And I think it's something that is difficult to produce in China, because the traditional is what they call 高大全, as in you cover everything. You know, it's a formula for family viewing. And not to forget, whenever new medium emerges, what happens is that the people and the talent come from the old media. So what you find is that it's actually TV producers that are crossing over to online media, and it's difficult for them to understand that content has to be fundamentally different before they become watchable online and shareable online. And I think that's the niche that we are actually filling, to actually make content that are not kind of TV programs uploaded on the web, but rather it's actually designed to be on the web, designed to be...
So tell us about that. What exactly are some of the, say top 2-3 differences in how you actually craft something?
I think what we do actually, first of all, we look for communities online, look for groups of people or tribes that actually share a particular passion or interest. It could be parkour, it could be skateboarding, it could be indie music. We look for those communities, and also we look for communities that are underserved. That means that they're starving for content. At the same time, it's a commercially viable niche. So for example, the first channel that we started called Cool, we started action sports. And if you look at, for example, action sports industry in the US, it's a huge industry. It's commercially very viable. So we actually identify those niches and create content for them. So I think what's interesting is that whenever we set up a new channel or a new content vertical, it catches on very quickly within the community because they don't have that kind of content. So for example, if CCTV5 were to say, I'm going to make a show about skateboarding, and please watch it at 7 o'clock on Friday. No one is going to watch it at 7 o'clock on Friday on CCTV5. They will probably wait for someone to record it, upload it on the web, and they search for it on the web. So I think we are identifying those communities and actually serving them and making sure that we turn it into a profitable niche. I think parenting and pregnancy is also another very good example. The whole idea that you have a new generation of young mothers emerging, and they disagree the old way of bringing the traditional views on parenting, and they are watching stuff on iPad. They are looking for information, looking for videos, looking for content that serves them. And so I think those are the communities or audiences we try to serve. And we connect with them on social media as well.
I'm actually an old father, so I'm going to watch 12 videos on parenting in a row and nothing's going to stop me.
Okay. Or could stage an intervention, come to your home and say, Richard, you need to stop.
So what about like the actual the way the content is created? Is it sort of like length and the way it's shot and how is it custom?
First of all, we essentially do very short form content, anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Stretching it to maybe 7 minutes for some content, but most of our content is actually between 2 to 5 minutes. And the reason is because if you were to chart the attention span on a curve, right, after 1 minute it starts going on this deep dive. So we keep the content short and very, very focused. So we don't try to cover everything and cover kind of every aspect of a topic, but rather we zoom in on something that is entertaining, that is engaging. So, and the other thing that's very different from traditional TV programming is actually we make content that has a very strong visual identity. For example, tomorrow at around afternoon we are filming a show called Hutong Jazz. It's actually unplugged session filmed in the Hutongs, featuring foreign bands that come through Beijing to perform. But there's a rule. They have to pick up a Chinese instrument and incorporate it into their performance on the fly. So they have to improv and bring in the Chinese instrument. So if you think about the visual of the show, it's in the Hutong, it's iconic, it's Beijing, and there's a very specific kind of rule to the game. So we design programs so that they are very memorable. You don't mistake them for anything else. You come back again and again to the show and you can pass it on. I think one thing about creating content on the web is that within the kernel of the concept must be a transmittable, shareable message. I have to be able to talk about this show in one line to my friend. Oh, Hutong Jam is the show where foreign bands come and they try and play the flute or the pipa, and it's really very entertaining to watch. So I think for every show we try to come up with that one thing that you will talk to your friends about, because that's the law of the net, law of the internet. If there's no buzz that you can build around the show, it's not going to work.
Like a viral component within the whole.
That's right.
That's interesting.
Kind of building the message.
That was a really good answer, but I don't remember anything you said after the first minute. I just completely.
It's okay. So what happens on the web is that you repeat yourself. You repeat.
So
just repetition.
Maybe you could say something new, which is how do you guys monetize? What have you found sort of trial and error in monetizing video here in China? What's the best?
I think at the moment, obviously very few people, I should say, are paying for content. I mean, there are certain players that are trying to go into a subscription model, but so mainly it's a brand sponsorship. We build audience for the channels, and then brands, when they have large video campaigns or social media campaigns, will engage us to actually distribute the campaign for them or produce and distribute the videos for them. So it's actually a brand sponsorship model. Various ways have been used terms have been used to describe it. It can be called branded content, it can be called web native advertising, whatever it is, but essentially it's a brand sponsorship content.
So it's really advertising and
That's right.
branded. It's branded instead of say for like YouTube that has the banner on the bottom or maybe a pre-roll or a post-roll. Do you guys do that as well too? Is there?
No, we don't. It's actually within the programming. Although I think down the line other models might become viable as well. For example, video commerce. The whole idea of using video to sell for e-commerce. I think that's already very much a trend in the US, where every product is not just accompanied by pictures, but actually a video or even a little show teaching you how to use the product. So I think down the line, other models that involve some sort of sales conversion, optimization may become viable. I think it's still fairly early days for that. Yeah.
So when you're partnering with these other channels, are they also overlaying their ads on there, or they just do a revenue share with you off of the brand? How does that actually work? And what's
I think at the moment, revenue share is tricky because you don't really. The thing, I guess the dirty secret, have they all left? Okay. I think they have left. The dirty secret about revenue share is that you don't see the money. I mean, at least at this stage. So.
Unless you're really large.
Yeah, you need really. I mean, I think. Have you not heard that you earn like quarter of a penny every 100,000 views on YouTube or something? So I think it's not very viable. I think for some channels they offer revenue sharing. For other channels there might be. Maybe they will trade some banner ads, or pre-roll ads in exchange for the content. I think at the moment it seems more sensible to just go directly and work with brands or agencies. So
sort of the core of what you guys do is come up with a creative concept, you guys do the shooting, you guys do the sponsorship around it, and then you use these other channels just to distribute.
But we can also just syndicate, we don't always have to produce. So to give you an idea, we have distributed maybe 2,000 over videos. Of these, about 2/3 are actually syndicated, as in we didn't produce the content. It came to us through the brands or some other people produced it. And if you look at the content business, content aggregation is always more scalable than content production. Because like how many thousand videos can you produce? It's hard to scale. So we are definitely open about aggregating content. It's a very exciting space because there's so little that is being done as yet, and not many people are using the model that we are doing. Because I think if you think about it, once the platforms are built, once you have the different platforms like Yolu, Tudou, unique content You need a content player.
Feed me, yeah.
That's right. You need content players to fill up the channels with viable content, professional content. So I think we're kind of the latter stage kind of online video play that rides on the infrastructure that has been built by the platforms, I think.
Very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
KineticOne, founder and CEO of Social Comedy. Thank you.